hair created the first self-made female millionaire. After struggling with hair loss, Madam C.J. Walker created a range of hair products, specifically for Black women struggling with the same issues. Despite being orphaned at the age of 7, having her first child at 17, and then becoming a widow at the age of 20, Walker created a business that changed lives. At a time when Black millionaires seemed impossible and female entrepreneurs were rare, Walker's empire redefined what was possible for people who looked just like her. She made history and created a blueprint for generational wealth. Trust me, that opportunity still exists today. So, show of hands, how many people here spend less than £60 on their hair? Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I can't see everybody at the back, but I think that's about 70% of the room. Well, these braids cost me over £200. And whilst I can hear the shock, that might be shocking to a lot of people here, Black women actually spend 4 times more on hair and beauty than any other race. In some parts of the world, spending up to 25% of their monthly budget on their hair. And that's why I've made it my mission to help the industry's biggest spenders create wealth for themselves, their families, and their communities. I've done this by building a platform that helps people with afro and curly hair find hairstylists they can trust in their local area. Our mission is to help stylists quadruple their income by connecting them with the millions of women who are searching for them online. But doing this has also helped me to see some of the biggest issues in the industry. Black and minority communities are often in the lowest income brackets, fighting against systemic issues that keep them stuck in this place. Imagine being expelled from school, denied a job opportunity or a promotion, or even stopped from competing in a sport that you love, all because of your hair. Instead of something so culturally significant, helping people to build a better future, is often weaponized and used against them. But how can an industry so reliant on Black culture leave so many people economically sidelined? What are the problems that need to be solved? Well, there are typically 3 ways that people make money here: by creating hair products, by selling those products, or by becoming a hairstylist. But like I said, these parts of the industry are quite broken. So let's take hair products, for example. Black-owned hair care companies spend years building incredible customer loyalty, often selling to these massive corporates. Now, whilst these acquisitions can create life-changing wealth for the founders, they sometimes come at a cost. Profits that could have strengthened the community flow elsewhere, leaving little financial gain for the people who made the product investment-worthy in the first place. Now, this isn't about stopping acquisitions, that would be silly. It's about empowering Black entrepreneurs, helping them to build, scale, and exit businesses on their own terms, in a way that allows them to reinvest in their communities. The product distribution space tells another very interesting story. Hair shops and wholesalers are locked in a generational stronghold. South Asian families, often 2 or more generations deep in the business, own the majority of the UK and the US market. They've mastered the game, and it requires a lot of cash. We are talking 200K plus just to open one competitive hair shop. Now again, this isn't about Black communities owning the entire distribution space. It's about creating an opportunity for them to enter this fiercely competitive market. And finally, there are our hairstylists. A lot of them independents, many mobile or working from home, but without salons or high street visibility. They remain really disconnected from their local communities, their skills hidden from people who desperately need them. I witnessed this firsthand when a lot of my family moved from London to Bath. Every few months, they would go on a coach, spend 2.5 hours driving to London, get their hair done, and then 2.5 hours going back home. They did this for years until they found somebody who was half an hour away. As you can imagine, with hairstylists struggling to find local clients, it often means that they struggle to significantly change their financial situation. So what's the end result? A multi-billion-dollar industry where those who create the most value see the least return. But what if we were to change the game? By helping the key consumers become the key players. Lives could be changed across generations. Take Mary, for example. Trainee nurse by day, hairstylist by night, incredibly talented. But she struggles to find enough clients to turn her passion into her full-time job. And then there's Ebony, whose dream is to open a beauty supply store. But she doesn't have the cash to make that happen. Finally, there's Dennis, whose inherited knowledge of African ingredients has inspired him to create a hair care brand. But he won't sell until he can meaningfully help his community. So the real question is, what is stopping the Marys, the Ebonys, and the Dennises of the world from creating generational wealth? Two things: access and ownership. Now, access in part means connecting with the right people. So imagine if there was a platform that could help local communities discover up-and-coming hairstylists like Mary living on their doorstep. With enough clients, Mary could go from making hundreds to tens of thousands. Remember, I spent over £200 on these braids. Even though not all appointments are that expensive, Mary just needs 5 or 6 people like me a week to make 60K a year. And 60K doesn't sound like a lot of money, but that's actually 3 times the average salary of a hairstylist in the UK. And that's what's life-changing. With that kind of money, Mary can start to build wealth that sustains families by doing things like investing, buying a home, one day helping her own children go through university. These steps are the foundations of creating wealth that is handed down from one generation to the next. Access also means getting funding. For Ebony, community investment is everything. If she can bring together friends, family, colleagues, pooling finances and shared knowledge, she can start small with an online shop, eventually saving up enough money to open up a brick-and-mortar property, allowing her to take her first steps into this incredibly competitive space with minimal risk. These insider entrepreneurs also have a unique advantage: lived experience. They know the customers. They use the products. So they can create an authentic and caring experience that leads to more than just one passing transaction, but customer loyalty that lasts lifetimes, allowing them to build a business that can also be handed down to the next generation, giving them the head start in life that they could only have dreamed of. Finally, ownership means creating legacies that have a lasting impact. And whilst on the surface, this seems like the most challenging problem to solve, it has in fact been done. And Dennis, who is a real person, was the man to do it. In 1991, Richelieu Dennis, his mother, and his college roommate started selling hair and skin products in the street corners of Harlem. Unable to return to their home in Liberia due to civil war, the three came together and created not one, but 2 powerful brands: Sheer Moisture and Nubian Heritage. After 25 years of building a multi-million-dollar company, Dennis went on to acquire the historic Madam C.J. Walker Mansion, the home that she and her family once lived in, turning it into a think tank for Black female entrepreneurs, giving them access to the financial and community support that he, his mother, and his business partner did not have. That is what ownership does. It allows people to reinvest in their communities. This isn't about creating instant millionaires. It's about leveling the playing field, giving Black entrepreneurs an opportunity to gain wealth from an industry that they have culturally and financially given so much to. When communities are empowered with access to the right people, the right resources, and the right funding, they have the tools to transform their circumstance and rewrite their future. Imagine a world where every braid, every curl, every twist was a pathway to wealth. Opening up opportunities that have often been out of reach, transforming something as significant as hair into a vehicle for financial empowerment. This kind of wealth does so much more than just fill a few pockets. It recirculates, strengthening neighborhoods and families. It's a place where every product and every transaction in the Black hair space is used as a stepping stone for breaking cycles of difficulty, allowing people to reclaim their narrative, their value, but most importantly, their financial freedom. We have the power to turn generational struggle into generational wealth. And it all starts here on our heads. Thank you.